David Morgan with you at the Vancouver Resource Investment Conference. To my left, Jim McDonald of Kootenay Silver. Jim, you got the Spokane weather for me today.
Yeah.
Let's start off with Kootenay. How long have you been with it? And give us a little bit of background for people that aren't familiar with the story.
Yeah, so Kootenay Silver is obviously exploration silver. We're focused in Mexico because if you're looking for silver, you should be in Mexico. Mm-hmm. We started the company as a private company in 2005. Went public in 2007, made our first major silver discovery late that year. And we've been focused in Mexico ever since. We've got 3 deposits under our belt. 2 of them have resource calculations on them. We've got over 144 million ounces silver equivalent in just the M&I category. And we've acquired 2 new projects over the last 2 years, one called Columba in Chihuahua State and the other called Copalito in Sinaloa State. They're both high-grade vein systems, and with the lower silver prices we've had over the last several years, high-grade works in almost any silver environment. And you got better margins, you got better market action from discovering a high-grade silver deposit. So that opportunity came up because of the bad market, and we jumped on them. They don't come around very often. Neither one has been drilled in recent times. The Copalito has never been drilled at all. And we started drilling Columba last year because there had been some historic mining there on a limited scale in the past, and that indicated there were some very high grades there historically. And last year we drilled 41 holes there, and we were able to repeat the success of those high grades, and now we're really gaining some traction there, and we're about to start drilling in a few weeks' time again for the 2020 season.
Great. And you did a financing, and you got one of the more well-known silver bugs out there. Eric Sprott participated, correct?
Yeah, we did. We were quite happy about that. I mean, these projects and our asset base, the leverage our resources give us to the silver price is quite substantial. So he likes that. He's, of course, quite a silver bull. Mm-hmm. And then the new high-grade projects and the discovery potential they bring was quite attractive as well. So he came in August with $5 million investment, and that really helped our market awareness and our market capitalization at the same time, and provided us with extra money to continue the drilling at Columba and get a little more aggressive. Mm-hmm. So now we're in pretty good shape. We've got about $9 million in the treasury, and we're fully funded for this year's work.
At the risk of sending you a curveball, I just know from my more recent work in the last couple months that one well-known talking head in our industry had indicated that there's some issues in Mexico with the drug cartels. You know, what took place with one of the druggies, his son was captured and then released. So I wrote an editorial about it, and I said, look, Mexico is the best place to be for silver. I'm not changing any of my investments, but we should be aware of it. Can you add on to that from your perspective? Yeah,
well, personally, I've been in Mexico for 20 years, working there. Started when we started out the National Gold, Alamos Gold story, and then with Kootenay. And we've never had any significant issues. There are always issues in Mexico with regards to cartel activity and violence, wars among themselves. The recent developments are really nothing new, and they're focused into certain areas, and those areas can gravitate around. We have a Mexican staff down there that's fantastic, and so the best way to operate is to have a local knowledge and Mexican people working down there on the ground, and to be aware of where you are.
Right.
The regions we're working on are quite calm, and of course we like it that way.
Yeah. Well, that was my main point. I think it's important to be aware of it, not overreactive to it, but there are some areas that are better than others, and I just wanted Jim to verify that the areas, as far as I'm personally concerned, is very good. There's risk anywhere, folks. We're in an industry that's a high risk, high reward situation. Don't want to belabor the point. Let's move on.
Okay.
What do you think is happening in the silver market and the gold market right now? You think we're finally through this period where we got a 6-year high in gold? We've maintained that level. There's more interest in the market. What do you see going ahead, Jim?
I'm quite bullish on gold and silver now. 2016 we viewed for a long time as being the turning point in gold. Silver didn't really make the turn there. I think it has now. And given what everybody else will say about world politics and money printing policies and negative interest rates, gold is going to continue to be strong and stronger, as will silver. And what I'm really waiting for is for that gold-silver ratio to turn.
Yeah.
Because it will, and it will go back to the median, and it'll shoot way past the median. And if it was just at the median now, silver would be over $25 an ounce.
Right.
And that's a totally different world for companies like ours.
Right.
So when that happens, it's going to be quite an explosive move in the junior sector, all the producers as well.
Correct. So I'm going to circle back to the high-grade discoveries. How much drilling have you got planned for 2020?
So 2020, we've got our proposals in from the guys on the program. It's looking to be around 7,000 meters. We haven't finalized nor approved it with the board yet, but that's the first pass is about a 7,000 meter program and over 40 holes. So that's similar to what we did last year. We did 41 holes and 6,800 meters. And our plan this year is to go in with 2 drills. There's one vein we call the F vein where the historic work was focused. And we've defined a mineralized portion of that vein that looks like it could be as long as 700 meters and wide open to depth and still open along strike. So we got to start filling in some of the gaps there, figure out how big it actually is, how deep it goes to a reasonable depth. And so one drill will be dedicated to that, and then we've got numerous other veins that we tested last year with good hits in them. And so the other drill will go and follow up on those other areas at the same time.
Where do you see the future of mining going? I mean, with all the advent of the higher tech throughout our lives, do you think we're going to be in a situation in the not too distant future where we'll have like robots doing actual mining, or we know we got trucks that are monitored GPS. I mean, these big open pits. I mean, they watch every foot that they move the truck. Where do you see the future?
Yeah, no doubt it'll become more and more automated. I mean, I think some of our uranium mines in Canada now are fully automated, so because of safety.
Right.
And so you'll see more and more of that, it becoming more efficient. You're seeing some of the big companies now going all electric in some of the big mines, which is quite an advance. So that will continue. I don't know where it'll go. It's amazing where technology takes us, but it'll get much more advanced than it is today.
Right. Well, Jim, you're, to me, one of the leaders in the exploration side, and you certainly go for the gusto, meaning, my favorite 2 words, high grade. So is there anything that we haven't discussed that you'd like to remind our viewers about?
Well, I think we've hit on the highlights. Certainly, I think what I want to point out is that the next 6 months are going to be very exciting. We're going to have the 2 drills going on Columba. And then in March, probably about mid-March, we're going to start drilling the other high-grade property, Copalito, which has never been drilled. And we're really excited about that because we get high-grade samples there and chip sampling over good widths right at surface, like exceeding 1,000 grams right at surface. And no drilling on that property ever before. So our probability for success there is pretty high. So we'll have 2 projects going, and if we're lucky, we'll have 2 high-grade discoveries going at the same time. And so this next 6 months is a lot of news going to come out, and it's going to be very exciting for us.
Great. Jim, it's always a pleasure. Happy New Year in 2020, and I wish you every success.
Thank you.
Thank you.